At 3:47 a.m. on April 3, 2025, in the Gulf of Aden, 3 small skiffs approached the USS Gravely at high speed. As the destroyer's watch officer observed them through night vision equipment, he discovered these weren't fishermen. Their crews were clearly visible holding weapons. They had no idea they were about to make the worst mistake of their lives. The Gravely, a 9,200-ton Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, had been patrolling these waters for 6 weeks. Her crew of 320 sailors had trained for exactly this scenario. But training and reality are two different things. The pirates closing in at 40 knots probably thought they'd found an easy target. They were dead wrong. Inside the Combat Information Center, radar technicians tracked the 3 contacts. Distance 2,800 meters in closing. Speed 40 knots. Intent obvious. The tactical action officer had already activated the ship's defensive protocols. Above deck, the Mk-38 25mm chain guns rotated toward the threat. Their thermal imaging systems locked onto each skiff with precision that would make a sniper jealous. The captain arrived on the bridge within 90 seconds of the first alert. He'd dealt with pirates before off the coast of Somalia. They usually backed off after warning shots, but these 3 boats weren't slowing down. At 2,400 meters, the nearest skiff fired the first shot. An RPG streaked across the water, missing the Gravely by 150 meters. The game had changed. This wasn't a probing attack anymore. This was open combat. Throughout the ship, sailors rushed to battle stations. Damage control teams prepared for the worst. The Gravely transformed from a floating city into a weapon of war in less than 3 minutes. Every system came online. Every weapon system is armed and ready. Every sailor at their post, trained and focused. At 2,000 meters, the lead pirate skiff made a critical error. It turned broadside to fire another RPG. The gunner stood up, silhouetted against the pre-dawn darkness. The Mk-38 gunner on the Gravely's port side didn't hesitate. He'd been tracking that boat for 90 seconds, waiting for authorization. Now he had it. The 25mm rounds hit the skiff at 3,000 feet per second. Each explosive projectile carries enough energy to punch through light armor. Against a fiberglass boat, the effect was catastrophic. The first 10-round burst tore through the hull below the waterline. Water rushed in immediately. The second burst hit the engine compartment. Fuel ignited. In 8 seconds, the lead pirate boat went from a threat to a burning wreck. The 2 remaining skiffs didn't retreat. They accelerated, splitting up to attack from different angles. It was a textbook pirate tactic. Divide the defenders' fire. Force them to choose targets. Against merchant ships with limited defenses, this strategy works. Against a U.S. Navy destroyer with multiple weapon systems and a crew trained to engage multiple threats simultaneously, it was suicide with extra steps. The starboard Mk-38 engaged the second skiff at 1,600 meters. The thermal camera captured everything in crystal clarity. Pirates are scrambling for weapons. Someone is trying to aim an AK-47, the futility of small arms, against a warship. The gun shot out 50 rounds in 5 seconds. Parts of the hull flew in different directions. Bodies hit the water. The Indian Ocean claimed 4 more pirates who'd chosen the wrong target. Skiff 3 got closer than it should have. A warning broadcast across the maritime radio frequency in 5 languages: English, Arabic, Somali, French, and Swahili. The message was clear and direct. The response was another RPG. This one came closer, passing just 50 meters off the starboard bow, close enough that sailors on deck felt the whoosh of displaced air. The Mk-38 gunner centered his crosshairs on the remaining skiff, but before he could fire, something unexpected happened. The pirate boat's engine sputtered and died. Whether from mechanical failure or divine intervention, the skiff went dead in the water 600 meters from the destroyer. Through binoculars, the bridge watch could see the pirates frantically trying to restart their engine. One man pulled repeatedly on a starter cord. Another dumped something that looked like gasoline into the motor. A third pirate, apparently the smartest of the group, jumped overboard and started swimming away from the boat. The captain made a split-second decision to hold fire and launch the boarding team. 2 minutes later, a rigid hull inflatable boat splashed into the water carrying 8 heavily armed sailors and 1 very unamused master-at-arms. The pirates in the disabled skiff had 3 options: surrender, swim, or get shot. They chose to surrender. Smart choice. By 4:15 a.m., all 5 surviving pirates from the third boat were aboard the Gravely in flex cuffs, looking significantly less confident than they were 30 minutes earlier. The rescued pirate who'd jumped overboard was pulled from the water suffering from hypothermia and what the ship's corpsman diplomatically described as a severe case of poor life choices. The Indian Ocean is unforgiving. Even in April, water temperatures hover around 80 degrees Fahrenheit, warm enough to survive for hours, but cold enough to make you regret every decision that brought you there. In the Combat Information Center, the tactical team conducted its after-action assessment. Total engagement time, 11 minutes from first contact to last pirate in custody. Rounds fired, approximately 150 from 2 Mk-38 systems. Pirates killed, 8. Pirates captured, 5. Damage to USS Gravely, 0. Not even a scratch on the paint. The 5 captured pirates ranged in age from 19 to 34. During initial questioning, they claimed they thought the Gravely was a cargo ship. This excuse didn't hold up well, considering the destroyer displaces 9,200 tons, bristles with radar arrays and weapon systems, and has DDG-107 painted in 10-foot-high numbers on its hull. But desperation makes people see what they want to see. As sunrise broke over the Gulf of Aden, the Gravely's crew retrieved what remained of the 2 destroyed skiffs, evidence collection for the inevitable legal proceedings. Among the wreckage, 3 RPG launchers, 8 AK-47 rifles, 2 PKM machine guns, and enough ammunition to start a small war. Also found, a water-damaged notebook containing what appeared to be a target list of merchant ships scheduled to pass through the area. The pirates had been well equipped. Each skiff carried multiple weapons, spare ammunition, and communication equipment. This wasn't some desperate fishermen turned pirates. This was an organized operation with funding, planning, and intelligence gathering capabilities. The target list found in the wreckage confirmed what naval intelligence had suspected for months. These pirates had connections to larger criminal networks operating throughout East Africa. Analysis of the skiffs revealed they were modified fishing boats, reinforced and fitted with powerful outboard motors capable of 40+ knots. Each boat had been painted dark blue or black to reduce visibility at night. The modifications weren't cheap. Someone had invested serious money into these vessels, expecting a return on that investment through successful hijackings and ransom payments. The weapons recovered told a similar story. The AK-47s were relatively new, manufactured within the last 5 years. The RPG launchers showed signs of regular maintenance. The ammunition was properly stored in waterproof containers. This level of organization and equipment suggested connections to arms dealers, and possibly even state-sponsored groups operating in the region. The captured pirates were transferred to the authorities in Djibouti 2 days later. Under international maritime law, piracy is one of the few crimes where universal jurisdiction applies. Any nation can prosecute pirates caught in international waters. These 5 men would face trial in a regional court established specifically to handle Somali piracy cases. The legal process for piracy cases in the Gulf of Aden region had been streamlined over the years. Since the surge in Somali piracy beginning in 2008, international courts have developed efficient procedures for prosecuting captured pirates. The evidence was straightforward: weapons, an attack on a naval vessel, multiple witnesses, and video footage from the Gravely's cameras. Convictions were virtually guaranteed. Sentences typically ranged from 10 to 20 years in prison. The destroyed skiffs were likely part of a larger pirate network operating from the Somali coast. Intelligence analysts estimated this group had successfully attacked at least 4 merchant vessels in the previous 6 months, collecting over $2 million in ransom payments. That revenue stream ended at 3:47 a.m. on April 3rd, when they made the catastrophic mistake of attacking a U.S. Navy warship. In the weeks following the incident, pirate activity in that sector of the Gulf of Aden dropped by 73%. Word spreads fast in maritime criminal networks. 3 boats went after a gray ship with guns. 2 boats were destroyed. 8 pirates died. 5 were captured. The math isn't complicated. The risk-reward calculation had fundamentally changed. The USS Gravely continued its patrol for another 3 weeks before rotating back to Norfolk, Virginia. The crew received commendations for their professional handling of the engagement. The engagement would be studied in naval warfare courses as an example of proper escalation of force and threat assessment.